In 1811, a girl was born in Connecticut. Her name was Harriet, and she was white. Her mother died when she was 5 years old, and her father was a preacher. After attending school, she moved to Ohio, a state that a lot of runaway slaves ran to. She spoke with the ex-slaves, and these ex-slaves were violently attacked in Ohio by Irish immigrants who did not want to compete with black people for jobs. The runaways were also attacked by whites who were not immigrants. Harriet took note of their stories. She got married, and she and her husband moved to Maine. Their house was a stop on the Underground Railroad for runaways on their way to Canada. She said that when she went through the death of her son, who died before he reached the age of 2, that her grief made her feel more sympathetic to slave mothers who lost their children. She had also had a vision during communion at church of a dying slave. These experiences pushed her to write about it. She wanted to write a book that made northern white people see slavery more realistically and wanted southern white people to begin to feel empathy toward the slaves. But instead, the South got angry. Her book was published in 1852, and it was called Uncle Tom's Cabin. Harriet's book was a bestseller. Frederick Douglass published reviews of the book in his newspaper. Some black people felt it was not right that Uncle Tom was so passive and not a fighter. But the southern white people hated the book and its portrayal of slavery that was sympathetic to black people. One slave master actually cut off the ear of a black person and mailed it to Harriet. That act actually confirmed that her book was true. Slavery was cruel and heartless. Uncle Tom's Cabin was a worldwide bestseller. It was written to change people's minds about slavery. It was written to be propaganda against the institution of slavery. In the South, 20 or 30 books were published in rebuttal to her novel. These were called anti-Tom novels. These had pro-slavery point of view. They had a father-like kind master, a morally pure mistress, and childlike black enslaved people as characters. Stage productions brought the story of Uncle Tom's Cabin to theatergoers. In the 1900s, 5 movies were made based on Uncle Tom's Cabin in the U.S., plus movies made in Brazil and Germany. Uncle Tom's Cabin has been translated into 70 languages. Harriet Beecher Stowe died in 1896 at the age of 84.